Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of Job Center. And this evening, we'd like to delve more into sustainability reporting, what exactly it is and how it's changing trends in the business environment. And of course, the concept of sustainability is moving beyond initial scope, which focused then on reducing companies' energy footprint. And now this time, it's more focusing on different issues. And to tell us more about sustainability reporting this evening is Bob Collymore, the CEO of Safaricom. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
How would you describe sustainability reporting in Kenya? And knowing that you just launched your third annual report just recently, how would you describe sustainability reporting? I
think it's poorly done in Kenya. But rather disappointingly, we're also finding that many companies, I think 96% of the top 4,000 companies, fail to disclose what they should be disclosing. And people don't understand, you know, we're chatting off camera just before we started about what is sustainability, and people tend to think about it only in terms of environmental sustainability or CSR. But it's actually much more than that. It's about accountability.
It's about accountability. And what are you focusing on in your sustainability report this year round? So
in our company, we've actually identified the material issues, and that's important for any business. What are the material issues? It's about network quality, it's about our employees, it's about the environment, of course, it's about ethics and corruptions, it's about energy use. And not just energy use in terms of ensuring that we've got enough to run the company, but also efficient energy use. And so we've talked about our carbon footprint. And you know, many people often say, don't you just use this as a form of PR? Well, that's not true, because actually, if you look at this year's report, you'll see our carbon footprint has grown. You'll see our use of diesel has grown, our use of water has grown. But if you're not measuring those things and reporting on them, then you can't fix them.
Right. And just like you say, you can't fix them. What we're seeing in Kenya today is not many companies understand sustainability, as well as the media as well. We do not understand what exactly sustainability reporting is. So in simple, basic terms, what exactly are we supposed to know that is not yet known? Have we misreported sustainability in a way?
I think you focused on the wrong things. And you know, I give you a hard time when we launched our report the last time. And you did tell me what you were going to headline on, and you headlined on the fact that we had fired 56 people, because that was an easy headline for the media to pick up. And that's partly because we as the business sector haven't done enough to explain to media what it's about. We have the Global Compact. You know, I sit on the Global Compact board, and we also have a local network, and that's going to help a lot of companies to get their heads around it. I'm really pleased to see some companies getting on the back of this. Now, tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, Joshua Oigara will be launching his sustainability report, and they've been publishing sustainability reports since 2007, I believe, and it's actually quite a good report. I've sent a sneak preview. But we also had companies like Unilever, Total, lots of other companies who are doing it. But we want to kind of get it across the businesses that it's not just about big businesses that have to do it. You know, we all need to do it, because we all need that transparency and that accountability.
Okay, and I think there are about 32 companies, maybe 36 companies that have released sustainability reports out of 62. What does that tell about business companies today?
Well, that sounds like a big number, but what you have to look at is the quality of the reporting that's in there. Some people do tend to use it a bit as a PR thing, to say, look how smart we are. Other people use it as a transparent thing, to say, if we are measuring it and reporting on it, then we are managing it. And if we're managing it, then we can fix it. How else do I deal with diversity in the workplace, for example, to make sure that we have the right representation of employees with disability, the right number of women? Now, if you look at our report, you see that roughly 50-50 men and women in the company, but actually delve a little more, and then you'll see in the top management, it's only 30% who are women.
All right, that is one woman among every 2 men. That is a case point for Safaricom.
In our case, yes. And then when you delve to the next level down, you see what that percentage is. Actually, the men outnumber the women by a larger number. And then you say, so what are we going to do about it? And that's what we put in the report. We said, this is what we're doing. We're actually spending more on training women. And if you look at the last year, 60% of our recruits were women and 40% were men. If you look at the training hours for women compared to men, they were greater. So we say to you, this is where we are, this is where we want to get to, and this is how we will get there. And so next year you'll judge us. And we don't always hit it. So sometimes the numbers are not where we want them to be.
All right, let me ask this. Well, I'm going to ask again some of the employees that were terminated from Safaricom. Has this affected the company in any way in terms of sustainability?
Well, I'm hoping it's improved the company, because what you need to do is you need to get rid of the bad apples, otherwise the whole bowl of fruit goes rotten. And last year it was 56, the year before that it was fewer, and the year before that it was higher. So by publishing it, we actually run our flag up the mast to say to people, we don't tolerate this in the company. And actually, you know, by you running with the headline last couple of weeks ago, it was not a bad thing, because it sends a strong message back into the organization to say that it's not going to be tolerated.
All right. And let's talk about also the academies that Safaricom is having, especially across institutions of higher learning. Has it helped in a way, if I could even connect this to sustainability, has this helped the company in a way to grow? And if this is used as a recruitment area, what exactly do you use to qualify people to get into Safaricom?
It's not really used as a recruitment tool, because if you take the work we're doing with the journalism fellowship, for example, we don't hire journalists, but we think it's important that the standard of journalism is lifted in the country. The standard of business reporting is lifted in the country, because then we don't, you know, tomorrow we're announcing our half-year results, then people kind of get it in context. Similarly, some of the other academies that we run is not so much for recruitment. We simply want to grow the pool so that we have more to choose from. We do a lot of work with women in technology, for example. So most of our interns are actually women. At any one time we have probably about 30 young women in the organization, not because we want to hire them, but we want to give them exposure to a work environment. We want to prepare them for a work environment. So we can pick and choose if we wanted to, but also it gives, you know, the business community in general a larger choice.
All right. And with the university academies, is it also the same thing? Is what is happening there just for helping younger people get to know what they're supposed to be doing? What exactly do these academies do?
So we kind of look at it in a slightly different way. What we say is one of the biggest challenges that we have as a country, and we heard the President talk about this over the past few days as well, the biggest challenge is youth unemployment. And if we have growing youth unemployment as a country, then as a business community we're going to have a problem. You know, I had a session last week with some people where we talked about Walmart coming into the country, and I said, what's the point of Walmart coming into the country if young people don't have jobs? And so we as a business community, and I don't talk just as Safaricom, companies like us, companies like KCB, we need to grow that base, we need to grow that capability and skills so that we have a market to address in a few years' time.
All right. And is there any specific reason as to why CEOs feel powerless to, you know, get into sustainability?
Absolutely, that's a very good question. It's a very good question. It's been one which has been kicking around for the past few months, actually. And The Guardian wrote a very good article on this last week. And one is that investors don't care. Two, you don't get board support for it. I mean, I'm very lucky that my board does support me. You can feel a bit lonely. You can feel a bit like a tree hugger because people are focusing entirely on the numbers that I'm going to announce tomorrow afternoon. They're not looking at the broader picture. Whereas investors, and I'm a big proponent of getting investors to start to think about this. So when I go to New York, I spend a lot of time explaining to them why they should be concerned about the business, not for the end of the year, but for 3, 4, 5 years out from now.
Right.
We need to be creating markets for those businesses to succeed.
All right. One of my final questions to you is, yesterday we did have an expose on, you know, fake pastors and all these things that they do and how they fleece, you know, poor Kenyans of their money. And half the time the telemarketing center was being operated by these young people, and not even above that, I mean, all these people were using Safaricom lines. So what does that say about the company?
Well, it says that 68% of the people in the country use Safaricom lines. So it's hardly surprising that they do so.
But how does that actually, is there a way in which you monitor who is using the phone or what they're using the phone lines for? Because what we're seeing now is, you know, these pastors, you know, taking advantage of innocent Kenyans and then fleecing them of their money, and then later on their SIM cards are switched off, or they switch lines and then, you know, do the same thing with different lines. Is there a way in which you are trying to, you know, get rid of that?
We can only act within the law, and if we monitored your phone calls, you wouldn't like that. So we can't monitor people's phone calls. Their behavior is different. So we have daily, we have, you know, hundreds of misuse which is coming in largely from prisons, and then we switch it off. But we can't act unless we have, you know, unless there's a court order or a police order for us to do so.
So would you agree with the fact that telecom companies should be allowed to tap phone calls?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want them to tap my phone calls, so there's no reason why we should be tapping other people's phone calls. I don't think that's the case. I think that where there's misbehavior, you know, there is a legal process that one goes through, and you know, we will disconnect and we will report and provide you know, telephone data records, not content, to the law enforcement agencies.
All right. So tomorrow you're launching your results. What should we expect?
You should expect me to wear a white shirt and perhaps
and a blue
perhaps
tie or a red
no,
tie.
It can't be a blue tie. It'll probably be a green tie tomorrow. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So is that all we should expect tomorrow?
That's as much as you can expect, yes.
All right. I guess you don't want to talk about that. Thank you so much for making time for us here on Job Center and expounding more on sustainability reporting. I hope that we have gotten as much knowledge from it. Your final remarks, if you may?
My final remarks is I would urge businesses to really embrace this sustainability thing. And it's not a lonely thing. If you join the local network of the Global Compact, which is run under the auspices of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, you know, there's good company there, and there's lots of tools and learnings you can pick up from your peers.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And
You're welcome.
Appreciate. CEO Safaricom, Bob Collymore, speaking to us about sustainability reporting and how exactly the younger people can benefit from it, and just about all the young Kenyans knowing that youth unemployment is so rife. Well, my name is Joy Doreen Bira. Business is up next.